Lecture 7 is about sampling, which means that in all studies, any kind of study, we always want to pick out a part of the total population to carry out our research. We don't survey the whole population, okay? Because complete enumeration is not possible and is actually not necessary when you have scientifically designed sampling methods. For example, if your study area is a 1 million population city, how is it possible to survey this 1 million population? It's not possible and it's not necessary. You don't have the time, you don't have the money to do the survey for the whole population, right? So advantages of sampling include efficient and cost effective because you only have to enumerate or survey a part of the total population, and it's high. Your samples can have highly detailed information, and this information is just accurate enough. But the big assumption here is that the sampling method you're using is scientifically designed and it is suitable for your specific applications or your specific studies. Okay, so sampling methods are important. And let's just go through some basic concepts in sampling. So first, sampling, a procedure by which a subset or a part of a given population are selected as representatives of the entire population. Since samples, they are representatives of the entire population, they have to be representative enough to address the population, right? And then next term, target population, the complete set of individuals from which information is to be collected. Sampling frame, the practical or optional or operational structure that contains the entire set of elements from which the sample will actually be drawn. Okay, we have target population, and sampling frame is included in the target population. Usually, we set some conditions to establish this sampling frame, and then sampling population, the set of all individuals contained in the sampling frame from which the sample is actually drawn. So we use this sampling frame to address the sampling population. Sampling population should be based on sampling frame. So here is a more straightforward figure to show you the relationship, okay, among target population, sampling population, and the sample. So the largest polygon, the ellipse here, okay, is target population. For example, that 1 million population city. Target population is that 1 million people, okay? And we need to narrow it down using some conditions to select or to figure out the sampling population. For example, I want to survey the commuting time for young people between 20 years old to 35 years old in this 1 million population city. So sampling population is people between 20 years old and 35 years old, and also who commute every day. That's sampling population. So sampling population is a subset of target population. And within a sampling population, we draw our sample. How to do that? This is where your sampling methods stepping in. Okay, you use random, simple random method, or you use other methods to usually randomly choose some observations from a sampling population and carry out the research. So you have to define target population first and use some boundaries or some conditions to filter out a part of the target population and to find out the sampling population. And from sampling population, you draw some, say, you collect some observations, and these observations together form the sample you are going to use in your research. Okay, so this is the idea here. So step one of sampling, define the target population, right? And then construct a sampling frame. You create some conditions, okay, to determine the sampling population operationally. And then select a sample design, how individuals are selected from sampling frame. Okay, so this is where you need to choose a sampling method. And then design research and operational plans, data collection approaches, instruments, formats, etc., etc. And step 5, conduct pilot sampling or preliminary sampling, right? And then if it is working, then you should actually do the sampling and collect data. Okay, so this is the general plan or steps for sampling, for a typical sampling process. So there are different types of sampling. We have a non-probability sampling and the probability sampling. For non-probability sampling, these methods, they're subjective. They depend on personal judgment. They are not scientific, not valid for statistical inference. So non-probability sampling methods, they are not we care about in this class. Okay, I'm not saying that they are not accurate. Sometimes an experienced expert or who know the realm very well can do non-probability sampling and may lead to a good result, but it is not something we recommend to do. So we prefer probability sampling. It's objective, it's independent from people's personal experience, right? There is randomness inside this sampling methods, which means that these observations, they are more representative. And they are scientific methods, which means they have been proved by scholars, by academia, right? And they are valid for statistical inference, which means that if you collected data using non-probability sampling methods, of course you can use them for statistical inference, but the result will not be convincing. But if you use the probability sampling methods, scientific sampling methods to collect your data, you can say that this methods or the data you collected is valid for statistical inference. Okay. So let me just give you some example. For non-probability sampling, we have something called quota sampling. Select individuals according to fixed quota, right? Convenience sampling. Select individuals which are convenient for sampling, right? Availability or accessibility. For example, you want to survey people, ask people about their commuting time. And for convenience, you just want to interview people that are living very close to your residence, right? For your convenience. You know that it's not scientific, it's not representative enough, but of course you can do that. So it's not reliable. This method is just not reliable. And purposive sampling, one selects individuals based on what he thinks would be appropriate for the study. I have no comments, okay? I have no comments. Snowballing sampling, for example, the first respondent refers a friend The friend also refers a friend. Yeah, no comments here. What can I say? And for probability sampling, I'm going to introduce several commonly used methods here. I'm not saying they're all about, they're all sampling, scientific sampling methods, but they're commonly used. So when you want to initiate a sampling, maybe you should start from one or several of the sampling methods. Try them first. Simple random, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and hybrid sampling. Okay, let's start with simple random sampling. So every individual has an equal chance of being selected, which means that we're the probability distribution here is uniform distribution, right? And the selection of one individual is independent of other individuals. Okay, sampling can be done with or without replacement. And procedure, the Euro procedure is like this. So we number all individuals, okay, possible individuals, and select individuals based on random numbers generated by computer. Because when we're talking about the concept of randomness, how to make sure something is random. I can ask people, say that, okay, please just give me a number between 1 and 10 randomly. That person would say 4. But how am I sure that, how can I be sure that 4 is a random number from that person? Maybe 4 is something meaningful to him or to her. That's the reason why he or she mentioned 4. So usually when we're talking about randomness, we rely on computers. But if you know some knowledge on computer science, you know that it's not possible for even for a computer to purely and randomly produce a number. But it's better than human beings, right? So we have something called random numbers table. Okay, if you look up in online, there are a lot of them. And here in the textbook, we have table A1. So this is the table for random number. Each location in the table is equally likely to be the digit 0 to 9. So we have a lot of figures here, right? Each one of them was randomly produced by a computer. So now you can simply say, simply and randomly point to a specific number, say, okay, that's the number of the individual I'm going to interview. Of course, and you can repeat this process and find out all those individuals you want to survey, you want to interview with simple random methods. Of course, you would ask that randomly pointing a number is still not random because a human being is a part of this process, of course. And then you can just input this whole table into your PC and ask your PC to randomly select some numbers for you. Of course, you can do that, okay? So simple random sampling, right? You just number a lot of people and randomly choose some of them to do the interview or to finish the sampling. So advantage, simple. And the sampling error easily measured. It's called simple random sampling. So advantage is simple. Disadvantage, you need to enumerate all individuals. I mean, you have to at least number all those people, right? If it is a small group of, say, 20 people, 30 people, meh, fine. But what about 1,000 people? Okay, and may not be representative because the background of these people is not considered. So you may accidentally picked out a group of people with some common features and accidentally ignored or filtered out other people with another specific type of feature. So you cannot know that, but it's possible to happen. Okay, and it is not suitable for studies involving face-to-face interviews. When you are actually trying to do face-to-face interview, um, some people you just picked using simple random methods may be very far away from you. And if your study requires a face-to-face interview, it may not happen because some individuals you just randomly picked, they're not available. They're just far away, or for some reason you cannot see them. If that's the case, you need to do something called replacement, and just ignore that people or some people are not available and redo the random sampling again. So that's a problem. So next one is called systematic sampling. This is more complex than simple random sampling. Let's just say it, okay? Random sampling on a regular interval. Okay, let's just assume the population size is n. We have n individuals here, uppercase n, okay? And the sample size is lowercase n. From uppercase n, we want to pick out lowercase n people or objects, right? Then the sampling interval, it can be calculated as this. So we have the interval k, and k is the ratio between uppercase n and lowercase n. Okay, so procedure. So number all individuals, 1, 2, 3, 4, n. Randomly select a number between 1 and k. We have all individuals here, and you need to decide the sample size. Once the population size and the sample size are decided, you use the ratio of them to calculate k as the interval. Once you have k, you need to choose an integer from 1 to k. Okay, and that integer is j. And a sample consists of individuals indexed by j, j plus k, j plus 2k, j plus until n minus k. Okay, so in order to start using systematic sampling, you need to know uppercase n, lowercase n, then calculate k, then choose a specific integer for j. Okay, and you start the sampling from the individual j. Example. So when the population itself exhibits some periodicity which matches the sampling interval, some individuals might be underrepresented. So here I'm going to use an example to show you how to do systematic sampling and simultaneously reviews the problem of this method, okay? For example, we have 96 objects. That's the total population. I'm going to survey 24 of them. So the ratio between 96 and 24 is 4. So k equals 4. That's the interval. From 1 to 4, I randomly chose 3. So j equals 3, which means that the first individual to be sampled in this population is the individual that is the third one in the population. So here is the example. Let's just say we have 96 circles here, each one with a specific color. Could be blue, could be green, could be black, could be yellow, right? So each row is what? Is formed by 16 individuals. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows. So totally we have 96 circles here. So let's get started with systematic sampling. So where is the first observation we want to collect? It's the third object, right? Because J is 3. So this is object 1, object 2, object 3. So this green circle will be the first observation you will collect. Okay? So this is the first one. And what's the next one? We're going to use this interval to decide the next one. So the interval is 4. And the first object sampled here is this green circle. So we add 4 to the number of this circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the second individual to be collected, to be observed, because the interval is 4. So where is the next one? Now you know we need to count 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do this for all these 96 individuals to finish the systematic sampling. And here is the result. All those circles are marked by red circles. They are sampled objects. So you can say that the interval is always 4. So the first object, individual to be collected, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, next row, 2, 3, 4. So eventually we have 24 circles marked by red. Okay, so the sampling method has been done. So what's the problem here? If you just check all those individuals being collected, there is no black circles. Obviously, black circles are underrepresented in this sampling process. Why? Because you have a fixed interval. And I would say that there is a specific pattern for these black circles in this population, right? You would say, okay, it's not very normal because all those black circles, they are on the 4th position and 8th position, right? A 12th position and 16th position of each row. It's not going to happen a lot. But what if it happens? If it happens, your systematic sampling method used here is, it perfectly avoided all black circles, which means that your sample result, all those circles marked by red, they are not representative enough to address the whole population, because there are black circles in this population, but you missed all of them. So this is the problem of systematic sampling. You use a fixed interval to collect individuals, to collect observations. And you could just conveniently and unfortunately miss just a whole group, just like this, okay? So when you're trying to use systematic sampling method, before using it, observe your data set very carefully and say if there is a specific pattern, spatial pattern or non-spatial pattern, and make sure that when you collect observations from the population, that a specific pattern can be addressed. In other words, individuals associated with this specific pattern should be collected. Or make sure that you do not collect individuals only from that pattern. Okay, what if it's not possible here because the ratio between 96 and 24 is decided, it is 4. Let's just assume it is not 4, it's 5. Then what is going to happen? your sample will only contain black circles because you're going to start from the fifth individuals here, okay? And sorry, not only black circles. And from this black circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then yellow, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, if K was 5, it's better. At least some black circles will be collected. But for now, if K is only 4, okay, and you start from the third individual here, then this is a result. Okay, okay. The minority group, not necessarily minority. It's just circles with a specific color. They are totally ignored. They're totally ignored. Okay, so this is systematic sampling. So next, I'm going to introduce stratified sampling, but I will just stop here and I will continue in the next video. Thank you.